Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tiger Stadium. I'm George Kell, along with Kaline, who is in the Tiger dugout at the moment in uniform. We're all set for the Upper Deck Heroes of Baseball game that's going to be played here this afternoon. They'll play a 3-inning ball game, the world champion Tigers of 1968 against the St. Louis Cardinals that they defeated in the World Series that year in one of the great World Series of all time. The Tigers down 3-1 in that series and came back to win it 4-3. In the Tiger dugout right now is my cohort, Kaline, who played in that World Series, and you must have some great memories, Al.
Oh, George, it's great getting together with all the guys. A lot of guys I have not seen for quite a few years. Certainly we have a lot of players, former players that live in the area here, but there's a lot of guys that I have not had a chance to see, and it's great getting with them. We were together last night, and everybody's pretty excited about the game today. You know, we've never lost to the Cardinals. They had a game out in Phoenix one year. We beat them. We beat them here one other time, so we're trying to have a clean sweep.
Okay, Al, we're going to get into the introductions right now. We'll talk to you a little bit later. I got several questions I want to ask you that I know you can answer, but we're going to Ernie Harwell, who's in the center of the infield now, introducing the world champion Cardinals. Tigers at the moment.
He recorded 5 wins and 7 saves for the Tigers in 1968 with a 2.66 ERA. He also appeared in 3 of the 7 World Series games. Pat Dobson. The starting catcher for the Tigers hit 25 home runs and drove in 84, while leading the American League catchers in putouts and double plays. He started all 7 games of the World Series. Now the baseball coach at the University of Michigan, Bill Freehan. He was 9-6 with a 2.39 ERA and a pair of saves for the Tigers in '68. He made 2 appearances for Detroit in the World Series, spent his entire 15-year Major League career with the Tigers, became their great relief pitcher, and a man who came back from a heart attack, a longtime favorite, John Hiller. The Tigers left fielder, this slugger, belted 36 home runs and drove in 85 runs, batting .285 in 1968. In the World Series, he hit .304, including a home run in the Tigers' Game 2 victory. Willie Horton. In 34 regular season appearances for the '68 Tigers, this man posted a 5-1 record with 5 saves. He pitched 2 scoreless innings in Game 4 in his only World Series appearance. Fred Lasher. The pitching star of the World Series with complete game victories in Games 2, 5, and 7. He was 3-0 with an ERA of 1.67 in the '68 Classic. He also hit a home run in Game 2, and this came on the heels of a regular season where he won 17. The great left-hander, Mickey Lolich. A backup infielder with the Tigers in '68. This 6-year major leaguer hit .385 as a pinch hitter that year. Also saw action in 3 World Series games. Tom Matchick. In 1968, this man was 31-6. His earned run mark was 1.96. He became the first 30-game winner since 1934. He led the league with 336 innings. He had 41 starts in 28 complete games. He started 3 in the World Series and went the distance for the win in Game 6. And there's never been any like Denny McLain. He had a 10-year career in the major leagues as a catcher before going on to coach with both the Twins and the Tigers in the 60s. He was a coach for the Tigers in 1968, Hal Maragon. He was the right fielder for the Tigers in 1968 when he hit .264 with 21 home runs and 90 RBIs. In the World Series, he homered off Bob Gibson in Game 4, hit a grand slam in the Tigers' 10-run third inning in Game 6. He is now a television star on past Jim Northrup. He had an earned run mark of 2.12 in 38 appearances for Detroit in '68, winning 2 games and saving 7. Allowed just 1 hit and no runs in 3 innings of work in the World Series. Darrell Patterson. Oh, okay. He caught 5 seasons in the major leagues, all with Detroit, including 1968, when he played in 67 games as Bill Freehan's backup. He had a pair at bats in the World Series that year. He's now director of community relations for the Tigers, and on television, Jim Price. He hit 16 home runs and drove in 56 runs as the Tigers' second baseman in 1968. He started all 7 games of the World Series and hit a home run in game number 3. The Mad Dog himself, Dick McCullough. A coach for the 1968 Tigers, this man pitched 11 years in the majors and saw action in 4 World Series with the Braves and the Yankees. Johnny Sain. As the Tigers center fielder in '68, he hit .259 with 11 home runs, 60 RBIs, did not make an error in 304 total chances. He switched to shortstop and started all 7 games of the World Series. Mickey Stanley. He played 8 years in the majors with the Dodgers and the Tigers and saw action in 3 World Series. Appeared in 2 games in the '68 series with the Tigers. Now a coach for the Tigers, Dick Tracewski. This left-hander's major league action came with the Tigers in 1968. In that season, he went 4-1 with a 3.62 ERA in 28 games. John Warden. The Tiger third baseman. This man hit 12 home runs, drove in 37 runs in the regular season, added 2 hits and a pair of RBIs in the World Series. Don Wirt. This player won 13 regular season games for the Tigers in 1968. He posted a 2.85 ERA in 224 innings. His only World Series appearance came in Game 3 when he took a loss against Ray Washburn, one of the great hitting pitchers of all time, Earl Wilson. Like the Cardinals, the Tigers of '68 also feature a Hall of Famer. In his 22-year career with the Tigers, this man hit 390 home runs, drove in more than 1,500. In 1968, he batted .287 with 10 home runs and 53 RBIs. Batted .379 in the World Series with a 2-run homer in Game 3 and a solo home run in Game 6. Inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1980, Al Kaline. Well, fans, you've met the Tigers, you've met the Cardinals. Let's turn back the calendar now and have the exhibition game between these 2 great teams. Play ball and good luck. Thank you.
Well, we're just about ready to go. Ernie Harwell has completed with the introductions of both the 1968 Cardinal Ball Club. They have one Hall of Famer, Lou Brock, on their team today. They have several Hall of Famers on that 68 Ball Club. Bob Gibson is not here, but Lou Brock is. And on the Tiger squad, the world champion Detroit Tigers, Al Kaline, is the Hall of Famer that's represented here today. A good crowd on hand, early start for this ball game. They're going to play a 3-inning game. Denny McLean is the scheduled starting pitcher for the Tigers, and Denny is well, out of shape a little bit, I would say. Not in his peak pitching form as he was in 1968 when he won 31 ball games for the Tigers. The only 31-game winner since Dizzy Dean did it back in 1934 for the St. Louis Cardinals, and we have not had one since. And here he is, Dennis McLean, the starting pitcher. Dennis won the 6th game of that World Series. The Tigers were down 3-2 going back to St. Louis for the final 2 games. McLean pitched a shutout in game number 6 to win it. And Lolich, Mickey Lolich, as everybody remembers well, pitched the 7th game and won his 3rd game in the World Series, a rare feat. Bob Gibson had done it the year before in 1967 against the Boston Red Sox. Well, Al, we're just about ready to go, and great introductions there of the both ball clubs, and I was going to ask you about the World Series. You must have some great memories of that World Series.
Well, you know, I do. I have great memories of the whole year, naturally. It was a great team to play for. We had tremendous character on that ball club. Certainly, many guys had great years, Denny and Mickey Lolich, Willie Horton, but everybody contributed to that year, and I think that's what I'll remember most about the year. Hey, partner, they're taking the field, and I'm going to have to get out there now, okay?
Well, be careful.
I won't get hurt, I hope.
Don't get hurt.
Bye,
I need you up here now. Al Kaline is going to take the field. I got to talk to Ernie Harwell when he gets up here. Ernie giving Al's credentials for his career, 390 home runs. Al hit 399, just one away from that magic mark. The only hitter in the history of baseball that's hit 400 or more home runs and 3,000 base hits is Carl Yastrzemski. Al Kaline finished at 399, and he must have had 5, 6, 7, maybe more home runs that he hit in games that were rained out, and the stats did not go into the record books. But a very illustrious career, as everybody knows, from my cohort, Al Kaline. And a great World Series for him that year. He hit 367 in his only World Series in 22 years in the major leagues. He got into it late in his career, as everybody knows, Tiger fans everywhere knows. Mayo Smith, the manager of the ball club, making room for Al to play in the World Series that year. He wanted Kaline in there for his leadership and his bat and his glove, and he moved Mickey Stanley from the outfield to shortstop, something that was unheard of, and a lot of people thought that Mayo Smith had gone off his rocker, moving an outfielder to shortstop. But Mickey Stanley, great athlete that he is, performed very, very well at shortstop. In fact, the first ground ball of the World Series in St. Louis was hit to Mickey Stanley, and Lou Brock, the batter, who runs well, hit it, and everybody held their breath for a moment, but Mickey made the play, and from then on, it was an easy ride for Mickey Stanley. And the leadoff man in that World Series game, Lou Brock, will be the leadoff man here in the Old Timers game. And he'll be facing Denny McLean, the same pitcher that he faced in St. Louis on that day. And Denny bounces this one by Freehan. I think he's going to have to move up a step or two. He does not quite have the fastball that he once had. Oops! Over the head of Brock all the way back to the screen. What a career Lou Brock had, and in the World Series that year, he had a tremendous World Series. He had 13 base hits, which remains tied for the all-time record for number of hits in a 7-game World Series. And a fly ball into right center field. This should be handled. Kaline is backing off, and Wayne Comer in center field makes the play for the Tigers. Wayne Comer, played briefly for the Tigers, is in center field today. So Brock is out. And the batter will be Curt Flood, who spent 15 years in the major leagues. Most of that with the Cardinals, of course. 13 years with the Cardinals. Finished with a .294 career lifetime batting average. And it was a lawsuit by Curt Flood that eventually led to the free agency as we know it today. Here's a base hit into left field, so Curt Flood continues with his fine hitting. In the dugout right now, we have an old friend, Jim Price, who has the headsets on. And Jim, 1968 brings back many memories to you, I know.
Sure does. I was a lot younger and a lot thinner, and all my teammates were the same way.
I was just commenting on McLean. He's not in the pink of condition here.
He has not missed any meals. In fact, John Warden said that Slim Fast diet didn't work.
Here's a pop-up on the infield by Bobby Tolan. It's going to be handled by Dick McAuliffe, and that's the second out of the inning. What do you remember most, Jim, about the 1968 Cardinals in the World Series?
Well, we had just we had played them a little bit in spring training, so we didn't know a lot about them, but we knew they were a high-priced ball club and very good pitching with Gibson, and defense. We thought they were one of the best defensive clubs. But, you know, we went into that series, George, and you know because you were with us every day, we knew we could beat them. We let them get ahead of the series, and then we came back and just blew them out.
Well, we've got a new pitcher now. Dennis McLean has retired 2 batters, and Mickey Lolich is coming on. Mickey Lolich, Jim, won 3 ball games in that series.
Wasn't that unbelievable? You know, a lot of people don't remember that Mickey started and relieved, and, you know, in those days, he had probably the best arm in all of baseball. He had a rubber arm. And I remember times warming him up to start a game. He'd throw 5 or 6 pitches, and he'd be ready to start the ball game. That's the type of arm he had.
Yeah, a lot. Throughout his whole career, from his minor league days to the end of his major league career, he had a good arm. He could throw and never had a bad arm.
And, you know, he threw as hard as anybody, and he had what we talk about the John Dohertys and kids like that have the good movement. That's what Mickey Lolich had, great movement on his pitches.
Well, here's a base hit into center field, and that's going to cost the Tigers a run as Curt Flood comes in, and it's 1-0 St. Louis right now. Jimmy, I tell you, it brings back a lot of memories as we look at these guys. Some of them I go back almost, I played with them, and they go back a long ways, and some great talent on the field here today.
There really is.
Here's another base hit by Julian Javier, trotting down to first base. We commented on this the other night. His son is in the major leagues, plays with the California Angels. And so many, Jim, why is it today? So many sons in the major leagues of former players.
That's right. Great training, I think, and growing up in that type of atmosphere. They really have all the advantages that they can take advantage of. And they're hanging around the ballparks like my 2 boys. My boys played for Michigan and Michigan State. They're at the ballpark all the time, and it's just a great upbringing for the kids.
Okay, Jimmy, thank you for being with us.
You're welcome.
Here's a bouncer to third. That's the end of the inning, and we're going to be right back in just one moment.
Dick Whitmer is head of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Michigan. What's the best advice you could give your subscribers about holding down their health care costs?
If there's one thing I would encourage our subscribers to do is when they go for medical service, the first thing they ask, do you participate with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Michigan? And if the answer is no, I don't, ask them what it's going to cost you over and above what Blue Cross Blue Shield covers.
Key question to ask your doctor. Do you accept Blue Cross Blue Shield?
That's correct. Do you participate with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Michigan?
Well, our guest in the dugout right now is Dennis McLean, and boy, does that bring back memories. The last 30-game winner in all of baseball, and Denny, you did it in 1968, and it's something that you'll treasure for the rest of your life.
George, it was great thrills, and the curveball I threw today was also a great thrill. Everything hurts in my body now that I used to remember that I didn't have. Now, it was, you know, those were great days. I mean, after what happened in 1967 in this city and where we went from there and how this ball club, I think, kept that city together. And to see people celebrate 1968, they didn't burn squad cars or turn cars over, set anything on fire, loot. I mean, it was just a different time. It was a great time.
Yeah, what a lot of people might not remember is what you were talking about there. In 1967, we lost on the last day of the season. We need to win a doubleheader from California. We won the first game, lost the second. or we would have been tied for the pennant with Boston that year.
Well, all winter I heard about it, of course, because I didn't pitch much in the month of September because it hurt my ankle. And Mayo, of course, made it a point every dinner he did that he wanted to bring up my name as to one of the reasons why we didn't win it in '67. But I think we all made up for it in '68. It was one hell of a year.
Okay, Denny, thank you a lot.
George,
nice
good
to be
talk
with
to you. Thank you.
Nice to be with you.
Hey, listen, the other guy gets too much camera time, George. You need more camera time.
Okay, I'll watch out for that. Okay, Dennis McLean looking out for me. Well, here come the Tigers, and Mickey Stanley's going to be the leadoff man. The pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals will be Nelson Briles, who won 19 ball games in 1968. The slow bounding ball to shortstop. Look at this play. What a bad throw. So Stanley's going to trot on down to second base. That'll be scored as an infield hit, I would imagine, and a throwing error on the shortstop for the Cardinals. Phil Gagliano is playing at shortstop today. So a runner at second. Tigers trail 1-0 in this game. Julio Javier had a base hit to drive in the lone Cardinal run. This is Dick McCollum, and he hits it hard up the middle for a base hit. Stanley going to score. He is. He's coming in, and there'll be no throw from center field by Curt Flood, and the Tigers quickly get on the board on the base hit by Dick McCollum. And here's Al Kaline, and he'll get a big round of applause, as he should. 22 years with the Tigers, Hall of Famer, hit .367 in the World Series against St. Louis. Facing Nelson Briles with a runner at first base. And a base hit into right. Kaline drives it into right. And the Tigers are teeing off here in the first inning. McAuliffe trots to second base, and first and second with nobody out. And Willie Horton. Big reception for Willie as he steps in. Tiger fans, greatest fans in the world, they never forget. Run somebody out there from the 20s and the 30s, and they would remember. Here's a tap off the glove of the pitcher. Gagliano bobbles it again, and the bases are loaded. He was going to flip it over to second, and the bases are loaded. Well, in the dugout now, we have Jim Northrop on the mic. And Jim, a grand slam home run you had in the '68 World Series that I remember very well, plus the triple in game number 7 that drove in 2.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, George. We really enjoyed it, and it was a thrill for me to be able to participate, let alone do as well as I did.
Well, you did extremely well. The grand slam home run came as the Tigers won 11-0, I think, 12-0, but the triple came with a 0-0 score in the 7th inning. This is going to be a double play, and it is. Bill Freehan bounces. Okay, Jimmy. Hey, you get these guys to talk until it's time to hit. Did you see how Kaline bailed out on me to go hit? And now Jimmy Northrop wants to get up to the plate, and he'll be batting with a runner at second base. Tigers have 3 runs in this inning. And Jim Northrop, who works the games with Jim Price on pass. And Johnny Sain is on the mic with us. John Sain was a pitching coach, a great pitching coach here in Detroit for a long time. John, it's good to have you back in Detroit.
Well, I tell you, it's great to be here. I had a lot of real great memories here.
Yeah, you got to look at Northrop. I mean, at Lolich and McLean and some of these guys, Earl Wilson, they were your boys.
Oh, they were fantastic, I tell you. And Darrell Patterson and Lasher and they were just super.
John, you had a great career everywhere you went with the Yankees. You were in the World Series with Minnesota with the World Series, Detroit. Everywhere you coached, you had a World Series ball club.
Well, I was real fortunate. I tell you, if I could have just written the script, I don't think I would have written it any better. You know, being in 9 World Series, 4 as a player and 5 as a coach.
That's about all you could ask for.
That's right.
John, good to have you with us. Great to have you back in Detroit. John Sain, one of my best friends. Here's Don Wirt batting now. And Don fouls it away. Jim Northrop had a base hit to drive in a run. Tigers are on a tear here in the first inning as they're teeing off against Nelson Briles. Don Wirt still lives in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and he hits it hard towards second, and it's picked off down there easily on the plate of first base by Javier. So at the end of one, it's 4-1 Tigers, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this has to be in L.A. tomorrow.
No problem, sir.
With express mail from the Postal Service, you're never left in the dark.
Yes, your package is in L.A. and being delivered.
Morning.
From just $9.95, we track, we trace, we deliver for you.
Well, here's one of the all-time great pinch hitters of the game, and he holds the Tiger record for the most pinch hits in a season forever. Gates Brown. Gates, hey, it's good to have you with us, buddy.
George, it's good to be talking to you. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, but I don't see you as much around the ballpark as I used to and as much as I would like to.
Well, you know, life has different turns for different people, and but I still keep in touch with you guys on TV and radio as much as I can, and I will say you're still one of my favorites, George.
Gates, I remember 1967-68 when the Tigers lost on the last day, 67, won it in 68, coming off the bench with so many key pinch hit base hits. That's got to be a great thrill for you.
Well, I will. You know what, George? That was one of those years where just everything fell into place. It seemed like every ball I hit found a hole, and you know, it was just nice being able to help the team to win because, you know, after personal glories, being in the World Series is what it's all about, and I was glad to participate in one.
And you see some guys here today that you don't get to see very often, I know.
I really have, like Dobson and Leisher and Warden, and it's really good to see some of the old fellas. We sit around and tell each other how good we were and lie to each other and things of that nature.
A lot of the Tigers, this is one of the great cities that ball players played here, and they continue to live here. So, Gates, you see a lot of them, but the guys you mentioned do not live here. But a whole lot of the Tigers still live here.
Well, you know, George, I tell everyone that Detroit is the greatest baseball city there is, and it's good to its people, and it's good for all concerned, and I'm just glad to be a part of the Detroit community.
Gates, thank you. Thank you for being with us, and always good to talk to you.
My pleasure, George. Good luck to you.
Gates Brown, one of the all-time favorites here in Detroit. Well, coming up to bat right now for the St. Louis Cardinals is Orlando Cepeda. This guy has credentials running out of his ears and a real candidate for the Hall of Fame, should be in the Hall of Fame. He had some tremendous years with the San Francisco Giants, overshadowed a little bit out there by Mays and McCovey, but he had 25 home runs, batted in 96 runs his rookie year. Then he went to St. Louis and led the Cardinals in the 68 World Series. Here's a grounder to short, and they're going to throw him out. He doesn't run as well. Mickey Lolich is our guest. He's in the dugout. Hey, Mick, you were still throwing the ball pretty good, I thought.
Well, George, I throw it up there, and they still hit it, so things haven't changed.
Okay, Mick, I want to talk to you in just a moment, but we're going to have to cut out for a commercial, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Hi, this has to be in L.A. tomorrow.
No problem, sir.
With express mail from the Postal Service, you're never left in the dark.
Yes, your package is in L.A. and being delivered.
Morning.
From just $9.95, we track, we trace, we deliver for you.
We're talking to Mickey Lolich in the Tiger dugout. And, Mickey, you won 3 games in the 1968 World Series, and I don't think anybody's won 3 games in a World Series since.
No, that was 25 years ago, and no one's done it yet, so keep waiting for someone to do it, but they haven't done it.
Well, it was a tremendous performance by you. You hit a home run in that World Series that you'll never forget, but the base hit that you got in game number 5 here in Detroit in the 7th inning when everybody said Mayo Smith should be pinch hitting, you were down a couple of runs at the time. I remember that base hit.
Well, I was sort of surprised I hit at that time. I, went up in the on-deck circle, and I was ready to come back, and he signaled me to go up to the plate. I figured maybe Gates wasn't ready or something, and I diddle-daddled in the batter's box for a while, and he just left me there. So I took one strike, and after that, I swung the bat and got a base hit.
Got a base hit. Tigers were down by 2. They scored 3 that inning, and the reason Mayo said later, he said, I wanted Lolich in there in case we got in front, and you shut him out the rest of the way, and the Tigers took it back to St. Louis.
Yeah, we, that's exactly what we did. Mayo said that he wanted to leave me in the ball game. He figured that, I could shut him down from that point on, so that's why I did hit.
Game 7. Game 7 of the World Series. Everybody says the most pressure-packed action in all of sports. Tell us a little bit about Game 7.
Well, actually, I was pitching it on 2 days' rest, and Mayo came to me about halfway through the 6th game, and we scored those 10, 12 runs in that one inning, and he asked me if I could pitch tomorrow, and I says, yeah, I guess I can, and he says, well, I only want you to pitch 5 innings. And I says, well, that's no problem. I used to throw between starts anyway. So I figured I got all winter to rest. So I was scheduled to pitch 5 innings. That's all I was supposed to do. And ended up going 9.
Yeah, in the 7th inning, it was still 0-0. You had pitched a whale of a ball game, and you did not give up a run until there were 2 outs in the 9th inning, and you had a very safe 4-run lead.
Well, when I went out there to pitch the 9th inning and I had a 4-run lead, I knew we had won the World Series at that point. And it was a little difficult to concentrate in that 9th inning. And I knew Mike Shannon was a dead fastball hitter, and I said, you're going to get 3 of them right down the middle of the plate. I hope you...
Yeah, wasn't going to walk anybody, weren't you?
And he hit one out, and when it went out of the ballpark, it didn't faze me in the least because the next hitter was a left-hand hitter.
Yeah, McCarver, you got him, and that's one of the all-time great scenes as Bill Freehan came out and jumped right into your arms. Thank you a lot, Mickey. Nice to talk to you.
Okay, George.
And we're going to be right back in just one moment.
It happens once a year, and the time is now. The Ford Factory Authorized Clearance at your Metro Detroit Ford dealer. Now. Incredible savings on new 93 Fords, like 6.9 financing or $1,000 cash back on the 93 Ford Taurus. Now. Or get 6.9 financing or $400 cash back on 93 Ford Escort. Now. Great selection and trade-in values are better than ever. Hurry before the Ford Factory Authorized Clearance is gone. See your Metro Detroit Ford dealer. Now.
Well, we've been talking to some of the all-time great Tigers. Mickey Lolich just telling us about his experience winning 3 games in the 1968 World Series, and especially going to the mound for the 7th game, the pressure-packed 7th game that was played in St. Louis, pitching against Bob Gibson, who had won 3 games for the Cardinals the year before against the Red Sox. And Bob pitched in Boston the 7th game of the World Series and won it. And it was 0-0 in the 7th inning, if you remember, and I know you fans do all across Michigan, that the Tigers in the 7th inning scored 2 runs when Jim Northup hit a drive over the head of Kurt Flood in center field to drive in 2. And the Tigers went on to win it 4-1. In the dugout now is one of our all-time great favorites, John Hiller. John, great to have you back in Detroit.
Hey, great to be here, George. Thank you.
I know you remember a lot about 1968.
Tell you what, just being there was such a thrill, the way we came from behind so often, especially Gates Brown coming off the bench and getting the big hits. Personally, the one hitter I pitched against the White Sox when everybody came out to see Denny that day in the doubleheader.
Yeah.
And that was, a highlight for me personally. But just being part of it all, George, as you understand, was just so great.
You were a starting pitcher in those days, and then you went to the bullpen and became one of the great all-time relief pitchers. What prompted this?
Well, I started in 68 and 69 when another starter got hurt, and they found that after 3 or 4 starts that I wasn't as strong my 5th and 6th start. So after that, they experimented more with me long relief and then middle relief, and then after my heart attack, that's when I really became a short relief pitcher.
And you came up with this great change of pace. How did that happen?
Well, when I was down in Lakeland, Florida as a pitching coach, recuperating from the heart attack, John Grodzigi was our minor league pitching coach at the time, and I would watch how he could throw his arm as hard as he could, and the ball would just squirt out. And he worked with me that year. Even though I was supposed to be coaching and helping the young fellas, he worked with me, and that's where I picked up that pitch. So I give a lot of that credit to John Grodzigi.
Boy, that pitch wasn't everything, but it made you one of the great relief pitchers of the game as you developed one of the best ones I've ever seen.
Yeah, it just changed my whole career around. It made my fastball and my curveball, which were very average or just above average, it made them better pitches, and they couldn't look for anything, and especially the changeup, they couldn't look for it.
John, where are you living today?
I'm living in God's country up in the UP. I'd love to say hi to the folks up in Dixon County, especially in Higher Mountain and Phelps.
I knew you were up there. I knew you loved it up there, too.
We've been up there 12 years, and my wife and I, we just love that part of the country, the people, and as much as I love the whole state of Michigan and Detroit, it's been a real pleasure to be able to live up there the last 12 years.
John, thank you for being with us. Thank you for coming back here today.
Okay, thank you, George. It's always a pleasure.
John Hiller, our guest, and we're watching the Cardinals now. Brock flied out to left field. Kurt Flood has just popped to the first baseman. And the Tigers, I think, are cruising along with a 3-1 lead. I have not been able to keep up with the score. We do not have a running score on the scoreboard. I said 4 a moment ago, but they scored 3 in the first inning. And it's a 3-1 ball game, and pitching for the Tigers right now, I've got to check, see who this is. Is Darrell Patterson, is it? Don't know, but we'll check him out here. Bobby Tolan is the batter. He's batting with 2 outs and nobody on in the third inning for the Cardinals. And he hits this one on the end of the bat. This fellow had some great years with Cincinnati when Sparky was the manager over there. You remember when they won pennants in the early 70s? This is Pat Dobson pitching, not... Oh, Pat Dobson's on the headset. I thought he was pitching. Hey, Pat Dobson, down in the dugout. Pat, nice to talk to you. Here's Pat Dobson right here. Pat, pitching coach for a long time after he left the Tigers, and in 1968, a key part of this ball club. And you've got a lot of great memories, I know.
Well, I do. It was a lot of fun playing with these guys, basically, because we came through the minor leagues together, a lot of us, and it was a lot of fun.
This was just the culmination of a great minor league career for a lot of our ball players that were raised down there.
Yeah, exactly. You don't see that a lot now, you know, with free agency and whatever, but it was great to play with on a club, you know, where basically the group was made up of guys that came through the system together and played pretty much at every level with each other and against each other.
Great. Pat, nice to talk to you.
All right, George. Thank you.
And we're going to be right back in just one moment.
You can always spot a neighborhood with pride. Maybe it's a little cleaner, a little nicer place to be. All because somebody cared enough to make it that way. Like your neighborhood 76 station. Here, every gasoline is specially formulated to keep your engine clean and running smooth. We're rather proud of that. 76. Go with the spirit.
Well, leading off for the Tigers here in the third inning is Dick Tracewski. What a fixture he is. He came to the Tigers in 1966 as a player. Played here through the 1969 season and, of course, participated in the 1968 World Series. And he's been the coach here. Coach and probably assistant manager. Filling in when Sparky had to leave the club for a while and under several managers. Dick Tracewski, very popular man here in Detroit. So he's the leadoff man in the third inning. Dick lives in Pennsylvania in the off-season and hurries home as quick as he can. Here's a swinging bunt, and he's going to be safe as the ball's not handled very well at third base. On our headset right now is Willie Horton. And Willie, hey, what a pleasure it is to talk to you. Welcome back to the city, and you're still here in the city, but you left after the 68 World Series and went to Seattle and a couple of places, but good to have you back.
I'm glad to be back home, George.
Everybody gave a rousing reception to Willie Horton. You were a great favorite when you played here, and they haven't forgotten.
Well, that's good. This is home. You know, raised up around the ballpark, and I came up through the Tiger organization. Used to slip in the center field bleachers out there when they used to slip in when they could get in as a kid.
Yeah, Pat Dobson said a moment ago most of the 68 ball club came up through the system together and played together.
Well, that's true. I think we stayed together so long for, I guess, 10 up to 12 years. Most of the guys did. And within the 2 or 3 years of span there, we all came up to the big league. And I think that's bringing you so close right to the day.
Willie, I know you have a very important job here in the city of Detroit right now. Tell us about it.
Well, right now I'm the executive director at the Police Athletic League. We work with young people, young kids. We got a presented program, and which expands from 5-year-olds up to a mentor program to 21 years old. We work from 20 to 30,000 kids, and sometimes we get involved with the game kids. And I'm very excited about doing this work. I'm enjoying it, and I'm glad to be back on with the people.
I can believe you'd be excited about something like that because you're part of that. The city of Detroit is home to you. You went to school here, raised here, and I know you're making a great contribution.
Well, I'm glad to be back, George.
Thank you, Willie. Thanks for being on with us.
Oh, thank you.
Willie Horton, one of the all-time great favorites, native of this city, graduated from school here, went to the minor leagues with the Tigers and on to the majors, and enjoyed his greatest fame right here at Tiger Stadium. Here's Mickey Stanley, the All-American kid. If ever baseball produced an All-American youngster, it was Mickey Stanley. Still looks as youthful as ever. Bounces this one to third base. Out at second, and no double play. They try to turn the double play, but Mickey still runs rather well. I was going to ask Mickey, we didn't get a chance to get him on the mics, but I was going to ask him about playing shortstop. You know, it's nerve-wracking enough to play in your first World Series, but to be moved from his very comfortable spot in center field, where he played it better than anybody, to shortstop, a very demanding position. But he handled it, and he handled it well. I've heard him tell the story how Mayo came to him and asked him to play it. Here's McAuliffe driving one deep, way back in center field. And it's caught out there by Kurt Flood. Well, let's see. We'll be right back after this message.
I'd love to say right now 3 or 4 of the designers that we carry, but then you wouldn't be able to save the money that you can save by shopping at the Men's Warehouse. We have an arrangement with the manufacturers. We will not mention their names on television. You have to come into a Men's Warehouse store and see for yourself. And quite frankly, when you're in a store for 1 minute, you'll recognize the brands and you'll understand the savings that's hanging on the rack. I guarantee it.
The Men's Warehouse. Call 1-800-776-SUIT.
Well, they were going to play a 3-inning ball game, but it went by rather quickly. After the first inning, the Cardinals scored a run. The Tigers came back and scored 3 times to take a 3-1 lead, and that's where it is right now. The next couple of innings have been played rather quickly, so they're going to play another inning, much to the delight of this crowd, who is really enjoying this ball game. John Warden, a left-hander, comes in to do the pitching, and Jim Price is doing the catching for the Tigers right now. A 3-1 ball game. After this ball game, of course, the Tigers, the Oakland A's, will go at it in game number 3 of their big 4-game series that'll be concluded here tomorrow. They've each won a ball game. A's won on Friday night 7-6 as the Tiger rally fell short in the 9th, and the Tigers came back yesterday and very close ball game that was decided on the last play of the game. 4-3, Tigers a winner. In the dugout right now is Tommy Matchik. Tommy Matchik was a member of that 1968 ball club. I talked to Tommy before the ball game briefly. Good to have you back in town, Tommy.
Thanks, George. Always nice to be here in Detroit.
I know you have a lot of memories about Detroit, and especially the 1968 World Series.
Oh, great. I mean, those are memories that'll be with me forever with this team. As you know, they were a bunch of loose guys, and it didn't matter what inning we were in, 2-3 runs down. We knew somebody was going to come through. One day it was Kaline, one day it was Trzaskowski. You know, myself, Gates, everybody.
Yeah, you came off the bench. Don't forget yourself. You came off the bench and got some key base hits. I remember it well.
I really enjoyed that year. Of course, now I'm about 215, as I was a 160-pounder back then.
Yeah. Well, you're eating a little better today. Where do you live now, Tommy?
Toledo's my home, George.
Oh, you're right down the road.
Right.
Well, you can keep up with the Tigers and the fortunes of the Tigers and the young Tigers down in Toledo.
Yeah, I get to see a few games now and then, and I just keep hoping these Tigers can pull off another one this year.
Well, we had a great first half, and sort of took a slump, and right now, Tigers are battling for their lives.
Right.
Tommy Matchik, I guess. Tommy, nice to have you with us.
Nice talking to you, George.
There's a fly ball into right center, and I tell you, a great running play out there by Wayne Comer, who's just playing a lot of center field. Kaline is out of the ball game. I would imagine Al has raced to the clubhouse, and he's showering, getting ready to come up here as you see Wayne Comer coming over into right center to make a one-hand catch. And John Warden is doing the pitching. See who the batter is right now. This is... I can't pick him up. And we do not have a scorecard. But Warden delivering, and a foul ball. This is going to get back into the crowd, and a souvenir baseball for somebody. Oh, this is Joe Horner. Joe Horner was a relief pitcher, and a good relief pitcher, left-handed relief pitcher with the Cardinals in 1967 and 68. The 60s were good for the Cardinals. They won the pennant in 64, beat the Yankees in the World Series, won in 67, beat Boston in the World Series, won in 68, and had the Tigers down 3-1, and the Tigers came back to win it 4-3. So Horner bounces out to the shortstop, hits into a double play, and that ends that inning. Let's see if the Tigers are going to bat. We've got Dick Tracewski down there. Dick, I told him a while ago when you came up to bat. Here's Dick Tracewski. Great favorite here in Detroit for a long time as a player and as a coach and assistant manager. And, hey, it's always good to see you.
Nice to see you, George. This is a lot of fun, isn't it, seeing all of these guys? You know, of course, I'm here on the field pretty much every day, and these guys, you don't see them enough, and we have such great memories of 1968 and you know, all of the great things that we've done.
You played in 3 World Series, Dick. 2 with the Dodgers?
Yes.
And 1 here.
Yeah, 1 here, 63 and 65, and here in 68.
It never gets to be old hat, does it, World Series?
No, it doesn't. It's really... In fact, you know, just playing here, you get a feeling of a World Series time again. Just seeing the Cardinals playing against the Cardinals.
You know, in the very first inning, the first pitch, I looked out there and didn't have the lineup down here at the time. I saw Brock at the plate, McLean on the mound, and I looked at shortstop, and there was Stanley. And you remember the first pitch Brock hit in the opening game was right down to Stanley.
Right down to Stanley, and Mickey played great. That was really some move that Mayo had. I mean, it was something that when we thought he was joking when you know we first started talking about it, and it turned out to be a super move.
It did. What did Mickey think about it? Did he think he was joking?
Well, as a matter of fact, Mickey and I, we were neighbors, and we used to drive to and from the ballpark together. And when we were going to the ballpark, he kept telling me, so if this is happening, I can't believe it. And it all started when Mickey, you know, we'd be fooling around during batting practice, and Mickey would come and take some ground balls just to get loose at shortstop, and Mayo, I guess, was watching him. All of a sudden, it dawned on him. Of course, Al Kaline was coming off the disabled list, and it kind of dawned on him, you know, to get Kaline back into the lineup and, of course, keep Mickey in the lineup because he really was one of our best players in '68.
And the Tigers had a great shortstop, Ray Oyler, with the glove, but he didn't get many base hits.
You know, he didn't hit a whole lot, but he was a heck of a ball player. Of course, as soon as we got ahead in any of those games in the World Series, of course, Oyler was in there, and, of course, Mickey was back in center field.
Of course, it could never happen except with somebody like Stanley, who's just a great athlete.
And, you know, he still is. I mean, when you see him now, he just looks like the All-American boy, and if he got in good condition, I'm sure that he can, you know,
play again. Dick, thank you a lot.
My pleasure. George.
Nice to have you with us. Dick Tracewski, Tiger coach, and we're watching Willie Horton right now as he bats again. This is his second trip to the plate. Tommy Matchik, that we were just talking to. Here's Willie driving it deep but foul down the left field line. That's a familiar sight of Horton teeing off on a fastball. Tommy Matchik, that we were talking to a moment ago, just got a base hit before Horton stepped in. And here's one hit hard at Gagliano, who bobbles it, but he's going to make the play at second, and there'll be no double play. Well, we've been looking for you, Mickey Stanley. Mickey Stanley's in the dugout. We've been talking about you. Your ears must be burning. We're talking about Mickey Stanley playing shortstop in the World Series. Tell us about it.
Hello, George. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Mickey, and great to see you.
Good to hear from you, George.
Well, it was a very nerve-wracking situation for me, George. The pressure was on. I had never played shortstop before, so quite honestly, I didn't enjoy the series like I would have liked to if I'd been in center field.
It would have been more relaxing in center field.
It certainly would have.
But the first ball hit in the game was hit to you at shortstop, and I know I was as nervous as you were. But once you made that play, I relaxed.
Well, that helped a lot, George. I hate to think what might have happened if I'd have waited 3 or 4 innings with the bases loaded and had that first ball hit to me. I think Brock was gunning for me as a leadoff hitter, and thank goodness I got a nice easy hop and threw him out, and it took a little bit of the heat off.
Well, Mickey Stanley, one of the great center fielders of all time, and moved to shortstop, as we said in the World Series. And when Mayo told you about it, somebody said a moment ago, I think Krasuski said you thought he was kidding you.
Well, I thought he was at first, and then I started to think. He brought me up to the hotel room in Baltimore with 6 games to go in the regular season. I says, maybe he's not kidding.
No, he wasn't.
And I was a little concerned what might happen with the feelings of the other ball players if I had a bad series. So he says, no, I feel like you can do it. So I figured if he had that much confidence in me, I should have that much in myself. So it worked out pretty well.
It worked out extremely well, Mickey, and you played great shortstop, and it's good to see you here today. Glad to have you back.
Thanks, George.
Mickey Stanley, one of the all-time great guys of this game, as well as a great ball player. We were talking about center field play this weekend, and Mickey's name came up very prominently. Here's Bill Freehan as he pops it high in the air to right field, and it's going to drop in, and the bases are going to be loaded. The Cardinals are not getting the outfield play that the Tigers have been getting. Wayne Comer's been roaming all over the place out there, catching everything in the air, and Cardinals are not getting that kind of play. So it's Jim Northrup with the bases loaded, and this is just appropriate that he'd come up with the bases loaded. And he bounces to first. They go to second for 1 out and no double play. Nope, almost a double play. Jim Northrup had a grand slam home run in the World Series, if you remember, in game number 6, and then the triple in game 7 that broke a 0-0 tie. They put the Tigers in front 2-0. They went on to score 2 more runs. And on the mic right now is an all-time favorite, Dick McAuliffe. Hey, Dick, it's good to have you back.
It's always good, George, to be back here.
How about the World Series of '68? You'll never forget that, will you?
Oh, it was a fun year, boy. The best year in baseball for me, George.
You know, in 1967, we lost it on the last day of the season, and Al Kaline has told me many times that everybody dedicated themselves to 1968. We've got to win it.
I agree with that. I think after that 67 year was over, I think everybody went home and looked in the mirror, and when they came in 68 to spring training, they were all determined, and after that first, the opening day loss, I think we won 9 in a row, and we were in first place the rest of the year, and it was just a great year. Everybody combined, and a lot of clutch hitting, and I think that's what really won it for us was all of our good defense.
Yeah, played very well. We were talking a moment ago to Willie Horton, and he said one of the things was that most of you guys played in the farm system together, came up together, and just knew each other so well.
That's true. Mickey Stanley, Northrup, Donnie Wirt, myself, Matchik, you could just name off almost the whole ball club, and it was a fun year. Everybody, you know, in 25 guys, I don't think we ever had a fight amongst ourselves, and everybody got along well, and everybody helped out one another throughout the whole year, and it was just a fun year to play.
Well, the game's changed, Dick. You're not going to see that anymore. The entire team comes up, stays together all the time. It's just unfortunate, but it's not going to be that way anymore.
That's true.
Not with free agency.
That's true.
Dick, it's good to have you with us, and good luck to you.
Good luck to you, George.
Okay, Dick McAuliffe, our guest today, and Wayne Comer just missed a long double into the left field corner with the bases loaded. As I told you how well he played center field, he comes up with the bases loaded and drove one deep into the left field corner foul. Then he popped up to the shortstop. And they're trying to determine right now, are they going to play another inning or not? I think they are. The Tigers are coming out on the field, but nope, they call the... Oh, it's Warden. He flipped the glove to Comer. He had Comer's glove. I think they are going to play another inning. This was scheduled to be a 3-inning ball game, or 1 hour. Now we're getting the signal from the upper deck officials over in the Cardinal dugout. One more inning. They will play one more inning. Tigers have a 3-1 lead, and in the Cardinal dugout right now, here's one of the real oh, he's in the Tiger dugout. One of the real heroes of the game, and a great friend of mine, Lou Brock. Hey, Lou, good to have you with us.
George, good to be here, and good to hear your voice.
I grew up a Cardinal fan, and not when you played. I was already out of it when you played, but I grew up a Cardinal fan, and I followed the Cardinals even after I started broadcasting and everything, and Lou Brock has been one of my favorites. And what a World Series you had here in 1968.
Well, I was lucky, George, in as much as you and I both came from the state of Arkansas. We're not the #1 person there anymore now that Bill Freehan is in.
We've been superseded a little.
Yeah, we have, and of course I'd follow your footsteps as well. But you mentioned that you were a Cardinal fan. So was I down in the state of Louisiana. We could only get the St. Louis Cardinals, and that's how I became a Cardinal fan, although I signed with the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, one of the real one-sided trades of all time. A lot of people might not remember. Lou Brock went to the Cardinals. Well, what pitcher was it?
Ernie Broglio.
Ernie Broglio.
He was a fine pitcher.
Oh, I know he was. But it turned out a Hall of Fame career for Lou Brock, the all-time leading base stealer until Ricky Henderson came along.
Well, Ricky did his thing and did it well, and we were forerunners, pioneers of that era, and, prior to the Stolen Base Act. But 1968, that was one of the years of the pitchers, and Denny McClain and a Bob Gibson. There's not enough can be said about those two guys.
Tell me about the 1960s in St. Louis. You won 2 World Series that year, 64, 67.
Well, we did. And of course, we came out as a young ball club, 2 different type teams, I should say. The 64 ball club was a hitting team. We had the Boyer, the Bill Whites, the Bob Euchre, and the Dick Grote. Came 67, 68. We had a much younger, more flexible ball club, and your Tim McCarvers and your Kurt Floods and Javier and Zapata and Roger Maris. So the 2 different type teams, yet they were Cardinal spirit was what they had.
I could ask you about a lot of things you remember in 68, but you had 13 base hits, and that ties the all-time record for base hits in a World Series, and I know you remember that.
Oh, I do. In fact, Lolich, in the 7th inning, I got the hit. Score was 0-0. I tried my patented 20-foot lead on him because I couldn't read a pitch out from a left-hander. And Nom Cash made a tremendous throw down to second base. And as a result of that, the Tigers went on to win.
Yeah, I know everybody's asked you all weekend back here in Detroit. They always talk about the play at home plate, and you've handled it so well all weekend. You did what you had to do.
Oh, yeah, indeed. And I always have stated that sliding does not make you safe. And Earl Wilson in the dugout here giving me trouble.
I know, Earl. I was on the air that day. I was broadcasting that World Series, and we ran that play back a dozen times, I think. Lou, good luck to you. Always good to see you.
Thank you, George.
Glad to have you in Detroit. Lou Brock, one of the all-time greats. Cardinals batting here in the 5th inning. Started out to be a 3-inning ball game. The pitchers have completely dominated this ball game. The fielding has been rather good, and they've caught everything, and so it's been a short ball game. Normally, an old-timers game takes a lot of time to play, but McAuliffe here going back on the grass. He picks it off, and the Cardinals go out again, 1, 2, 3, and in the dugout right now is the University of Michigan baseball coach, Bill Freehan. Hey, Bill, good to see you. I know you have a lot of memories of 1968.
Well, no question about it. It was a dream season for me, and to have an opportunity to be involved in a controversial play. But I think the one thing that stands in my mind is Tim McCarver's pop-up.
Yeah, the last play of the game.
Out, and that was a big thrill for me, and the world jumped on top of me, and my back's never been the same since.
I understand, and I can understand why. Well, Bill, thank you a lot. The ball game is over, and I think they want all of you to take a bow and be saluted by the fans, and I know they want to take a look at you.
All right, George, thanks. Nice to be with you.
Bill Freehan is our guest, and we appreciate talking to him. Well, stay tuned now for the Tigers pregame show with Fred McLeod. Then Al and I will be back for the Tigers and the Oakland A's, so stay with us.